Okay, ma'am. Okay. A warm good evening to everyone gathered here for our fourth day of AICTE sponsored Utter Faculty Development Program. Now I welcome our program coordinator, Dr. S. Priya, Professor and Head, Department of Electrical Electronics Engineering, to welcome the gathering.
Good evening to one and all present here. I would like to welcome you all for this fourth day of AICTE sponsored 2-week Atal FDP accreditation and outcome based pedagogic principles for effective learning. Actually, this is a trending topic in higher education institutions. You know, as a faculty, we should know about the importance of accreditation as well as how the outcome based education helps us to get the accreditation. So that only we have chosen this topic. Actually, I am associated with Dr. Baskar sir for a very long time. When in my previous institution also, when we go for NBA accreditation, sir is one of the member to help us how to go for accreditation, what kind the expectation of the expert member, what kind of things as a faculty we have to do. So for that we have conducted workshops. For that workshop also, for sir is act as a chief guest, and also sir come to my previous institution as an expert member to evaluate the process. Actually, he is act as an editor, and this Academy of Maritime Education and Training also, when we go for accreditation, Baskar sir helps us lot for getting the accreditation for the AAA department. So we have associated with sir for a long time. We know and I know very well that sir is having a vast experience getting in NBA accreditation for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 institution. So today the topic also NBA accreditation in Tier 1 as well as Tier 2 institution. Since the past 3 days, we are covering the first day, Dr. Ramakrishna Chala from Chandigarh, NITTR Chandigarh covers about the importance of accreditation, why the higher education institution going for accreditation. The second day, Madam Diana Moses from Hyderabad covers about the outcome-based education, how the outcome-based education plays a key role in restructuring the curriculum, and how it is going to be important for us when we go for accreditation. And madam, kindly mute your mic. Madam. Then yesterday, Dr. Parameshwaran from Kongu Engineering College covers the restructuring of curriculum for multidisciplinary education. How the national education policy insists us to go for multidisciplinary education. So that point he covered yesterday. And today, sir is going to cover about the NBA accreditation for both Tier 1 as well as Tier 2 institution. I would like to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Baskar sir, Professor and Head of Department of EEE, Thiagarajar Engineering College. I welcome you, sir, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation. When I am submitting the proposal, I have contacted sir. Sir only suggests us how to include the topics for this heading, and sir helps us a lot when we are submitting the proposal. He accepted our invitation, and now he is going to share his views as well as experience among our faculty community. I welcome you once again for this AICTE program, sir. I welcome you. And once again, I welcome all the participants for the fourth day of AICTE sponsored Atal FDP accreditation and outcome-based education for pedagogic principles for effective learning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank
First
you.
of all, can I start my session, madam?
Two more minutes, sir. I will just introduce you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your warm welcome. I'm very glad to welcome our session chief guest, Dr. S. Baskar. He is a professor and head Department of Electrical Electronics Engineering and Dean Research and Development, Thiagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai. He is having more than 30 years of experience in teaching and research, and published more than 130 articles in referred international and national journals. He has to his credit of more than 5 projects funded by UGC, Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, AICTE, Delhi, etc. He conducted more than 15 training programs based on outcome-based education and NBA accreditation. He is a senior member in IEEE and also a member in ISTE and Institution of Engineers. He has been shortlisted for Commonwealth Academic Staff Fellowship to pursue 6 months training program in UK by UGC Government of India. Also, he is having a recipient of Boys Cast Fellowship for Young Scientists, DST, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. And also he got a gold medal in Journal of Institution of Engineers and Department of Computer Engineering Division. I welcome you, sir, once again to deliver the session address.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
First of all, I thank organizers, Amat University, for giving this opportunity. I also thank AICTE for supporting these kind of programs for the benefit of faculty fraternity in India. I also congratulate all the participants for attending this wonderful program, for choosing to attend this program. Really, I'm very happy. Today, the topic of interest is accreditation. I'm going to mainly discuss about accreditation, mainly NBA accreditation, program-wise accreditation. Then what are the processes involved in getting accreditation? Therefore, we have around 1.5 hours. We'll spend the hour very maybe fruitfully. I'm now sharing my screen. Are you able to see my screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the information available from NBA website. I just taken from the NBA website for the purpose of sharing the information in NBA. First, before going to the discussion, first I wanted to give what is an accreditation. Accreditation is a process of quality assurance and improvement, whereby a program in an approved institution is critically appraised to verify that the program continues to meet and or exceeds the norms and standards prescribed by regulator from time to time. It is a process of quality assurance and improvement. Here, whenever you are interested to apply for accreditation, some peer members going to visit our institution, they are going to verify whether we are able to satisfy the benchmark already earmarked for the accreditation. NBA has identified 10 criteria for accreditation. Therefore, the peer team committee is going to recommend if the program is meeting the requirements, minimum requirements. Automatically, after that, we are going to get accreditation. Therefore, NBA accreditation is really required for satisfying certain minimum requirements for running the program. It is a kind of recognition which indicates the program fulfills the desired standards. We have two kind of accreditation in India. I think all of you already know. NAAC accreditation and NBA accreditation. In NAAC accreditation, the entire institution is applying the institutional accreditation. The committee is going to visit. Before the visit, they are expecting certain documents we need to submit. Based on that, they are going to evaluate the institutional quality. The committee is also going to visit. They are going to check various processes involved in the institutions. Finally, they are going to give accreditation. But the NBA accreditation is something different because each and every program is applying for the accreditation. The committee is going to visit for 2.5 days. In the program, 2 members are going to visit, 2 experts are going to visit. They are going to check various processes, inputs, outputs, outcomes, whether they are able to meet the requirements or not. The NBA, the current NBA system is having openness because all the informations are available in the website. If you refer the NBA website, there are plenty of information available. But 3 to 4 informations are very much useful. The first one is NBA manual. The second one is pre-qualifier document. Then third one is self-assessment report. Then fourth one is evaluation guidelines. Not only that, even the report, the visit report document also available. Also, they given the entire process in the form of a block diagram. Therefore, if you have any clarifications, always we can look into the block diagram. We are able to understand how the NBA is going to accredit various programs. Not only that, the entire system is having a lot of feedback mechanism, 360-degree feedback. Therefore, by collecting the feedback, they are able to improve the quality of accreditation. Now I am going to discuss about Washington Accord. NBA is permanent member of Washington Accord from 2014. We are enjoying that status now itself for the next 6 years. That means we have first 6 years from 2014 to 2020. From 2020 to 2026 also, that Accord membership extended. Here you may wonder what is the need for this Washington Accord membership. By having this membership, NBA is able to provide international mobility for students. If somebody is graduated from NBA accredited program in India, the two Tier 1 accreditation, we'll discuss later what is Tier 1 and Tier 2. They are eligible for pursuing higher education. They can practice engineering. They can also work in any organization. In other words, they are able to get whatever privileges they have for the local community or local student. Same privileges will be extended to Indian graduates. Such a recognition is available because of the Washington Accord. NBA is trying to get this membership from 2007 onwards, but they are able to get only from 2014. Now we are in the second cycle of Washington Accord. One of the major conditions for membership is we need to change the accreditation document, accreditation process. NBA started changing the accreditation process from 2012. In fact, in 2013, there is a radical change in the accreditation process. Previously, they followed input-output based accreditation in the sense that NBA committee will verify various inputs, namely the faculty qualifications, number of faculty, number of students admitted, quality of students, infrastructure, library, and so on. Mainly, they will verify the inputs, output in terms of number of students successfully completed, student performance, placement, higher education, publications by the faculty, like that. Therefore, if you see that up to 2012, NBA started in 1994, almost for 20 years, more than 20 years, NBA followed only input-output based accreditation or traditional accreditation. But in order to comply the requirements of Washington Accord, they have changed their policies, the documents. Now the NBA is using outcome-based accreditation. From 2013 onwards, NBA is following outcome-based accreditation. Based on that outcome-based accreditation exercise, they have filed for the membership. They have got the membership successfully in 2014. I think now already you are familiar with outcome-based education. If you are really interested to apply for accreditation in India, whether it is NAAC accreditation or NBA accreditation, we need to follow outcome-based education. In outcome-based education, we are very much interested in what the students are need to learn in terms of program educational objectives, program outcomes, and course outcomes. Based on the outcomes only, the entire process, whether it is curriculum design, delivery of information in the laboratory or in the theory class or in the project work, or the assessment of students' knowledge. Therefore, everything centered around outcome-based education, outcomes. That is why it is called outcome-based education. Now, let us move on to the document given by the NBA. This is it visible, madam? Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, I have shown a process given by the NBA for getting accreditation. Maybe you can start from the scratch. If institution is willing to go for accreditation, the first step is they have to register with the NBA, ENBA. Entire NBA is process is using an electronic system that is called ENBA. Therefore, if somebody is already registered with the ENBA, there is a straightforward process. Otherwise, if you are very new to the accreditation, the first we need to register in ENBA system. For that, they will be asking a lot of documents like AICTE approval, local university approval, and we need to pay some minimum fees around 1 lakh with plus GST in order to register in ENBA. Once it registered, then we can apply for accreditation. Because it is a program accreditation, we need to submit a formal application. We are interested in applying for some 2 or 3 or 5. 5 is one set. Maximum in one application, we can apply for 5 programs, 5 undergraduate programs. While filing the accreditation application, we have to submit a document, preliminary document, that is called a pre-qualifier. Pre-qualifier is having some minimum requirements, mandatory requirements. Some requirements are desirable. We'll discuss one by one. What is that pre-qualifier? Pre-qualifier mainly involves faculty-student ratio, program admission, number of students admitted in the program, number of PhD, faculty with PhDs, qualifications of HOD. Therefore, there are 4 to 5 essential conditions. If that condition is satisfied, the pre-qualifier will be approved online immediately. Once you have submitted pre-qualifier, we have to pay 10% of accreditation fee. Therefore, while submitting pre-qualifier, we have to pay the 10% accreditation fee. Automatically, that will be approved if we are able to satisfy mandatory requirements. Once the pre-qualifier is approved, then they are giving 60 days time for preparing another document that is called self-assessment report. Self-assessment report is a main document used for submitting the various criteria as per the NBA requirements. We'll discuss later what are the important criteria. Now, let us assume that we have filled the SAR. While submitting the SAR, we have to pay the remaining 90% of the fee. Also, they will ask the visit dates from the college. We have to give 5 slots. Each slot is 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One of the major conditions in submitting the visit date is the students should be available during the visit dates. During the vacation, or if the student is not available in the institution, the NBA committee will not visit the college. Therefore, that is one of the major requirements for the visit date. Based on our date, the NBA constitutes a visiting team. Normally, for each program, 2 program evaluators will be recommended, plus one chairperson. Therefore, if some college is applying for 5 programs, 5 into 2, 10 program evaluators and one chairperson. A 11-member committee is going to visit our institution for 3 days, normally Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Based on their visit experience, they will submit evaluation report to NBA. That is called assessment stage. After that, there is a committee called moderation committee. That moderation committee will check consistency of evaluators report. That committee will verify across India whether the mark awarded by different evaluators are maybe on average it's correct or not. Also, they will verify borderline cases. Borderline means plus or minus 5%. If somebody got, say, 620, here the 600 is benchmark for 3 years accreditation. Plus or minus 5% is border case. Therefore, if the mark is between 570 to 630, that particular document will not be further processed. Therefore, they will submit, otherwise they will share some of the information to the college. They will ask for additional information from the college whenever the mark is between 570 to 630, otherwise 720 to 780 for 6 years accreditation. After moderation committee, there is another committee called Engineering Evaluation and Accreditation Committee. In that committee, the visiting chairperson will be called. He will present the case of each and every institution before the AICTE committee. The committee will submit their recommendation to the Academic Advisory Committee, the subcommittee of Academic Advisory Committee. Then the subcommittee of Academic Advisory will take accreditation decision. This is the process. Therefore, the process involves registering with the NBA, pre-assessment stage. The pre-assessment stage mainly involves submitting the application form, filling the pre-qualifier, satisfying the requirements in pre-qualifier. Then within 60 days, the successful submission of SAR, paying the 90% of the remaining fee, submitting the visit dates. That is called the pre-assessment stage. In the assessment stage, NBA will assign a team. The team assignment will be intimated. The visit date will be intimated. Team names will not be disclosed. Only the date will be reported to the institution. The visiting team comprises of chairperson with program evaluators. For each program, they will send 2 program evaluators. Program evaluator will spend 2.5 days, approximately Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Normally, they will take half an hour to 1 hour for conducting exit meeting. Therefore, we will take only 2 full days for the accreditation visit. Based on the mark, it will be processed in the moderation committee. Otherwise, it will be processed in Engineering Evaluation and Accreditation Committee, followed by subcommittee of Academic Advisory Committee. There is one route. Therefore, after the results declaration, if at all any problem, if you wanted to appeal, if you are not happy with the NBA accreditation result, we can appeal. There is a committee called Appellate Committee. You can file your application by paying the necessary fees. In the Appellate Committee, you will be called for discussion. Normally, each program, 2 members will be allowed. You can present your case. normally where you are expecting higher mark, but the committee has awarded only less mark, you can present your case based on the recommendations of appellate committee and academic advisory committee. Final decision will be awarded. This is the process. Everything is available in the NBA website. Let us move on to the original NBA discussion. I already told there are two systems, two-tier systems. Here in India, we are following two-tier system. Here, the first one is tier 1, the second one is tier 2. It doesn't mean that tier 1 is very good quality and tier 2 is not having that much quality. The separation of this tier 1, tier 2 is purely based on whether the institution is having freedom to set their own curriculum or not. Therefore, if some institution is having autonomous status, they are able to set their own curriculum. All the institutions are coming under tier 1. Therefore, all autonomous colleges, universities, it may be state university, deemed universities, university departments, NITs, IITs, centrally funded institution, all are tier 1. All other institutions are tier 2. This tier 1 and the tier 2 classification is only to satisfy the requirement of Washington Accord. The Washington Accord status will cover only tier 1 accreditation. In other words, tier 1 accreditation will be equivalent to international accreditation, because the graduates coming from the tier 1 education institutions, their degree will be at par with all the developed countries, otherwise the members of Washington Accord. For tier 2, we cannot expect same privileges as like tier 1. Otherwise, we can say that tier 2 is within India, you will get full maybe benefit, but outside the boundary of India, we cannot expect in right royal terms. But tier 1 is all the developed institutions will accept the tier 1 degree if somebody has graduated from tier 1 accredited programs. But for NBA, the requirement is same. They are following 10 different criteria for both tier 1 and tier 2. Let us discuss that. This is the criteria followed by NBA. I think it is visible. There are 10 criteria starting from mission, program, educational objectives. The second one is program curriculum and teaching learning process. Third one is course outcomes and program outcomes, student performance, faculty information and contribution. Sixth one is facilities and technical support, then continuous improvement, first year academics, student support system, governance, institutional support, and financial resources. If you refer the tier 1 and tier 2, the total mark is same. But the mark allocated to individual criteria will be different for tier 1 and tier 2. Not only that, the accreditation awarding mechanism will be different for tier 1 and tier 2. We'll discuss later. Out of these 10 criteria, the first 7 criteria is categorized under program level criteria or program wise criteria. 8, 9, 10 will be coming under institutional criteria. 8, 9, 10 will be institutional criteria. The classification is mainly based on, for 1 to 7, individual program has to prepare the document. That means, let us assume that one engineering college is applying for accreditation for 5 programs, namely electrical, ECE, mechanical, computer science, and IT. In the department level, they will prepare the document for 1 to 7 separately. But when it comes to institutional criteria, 8, 9, 10, put together, they will, for the entire college, they will prepare only one document that is called institutional criteria. Finally, by combining 8, 9, 10 individually in all the department documents, we are able to have 5 SARs. 5 SAR means self-assessment report. Next, we will discuss the criteria into different types. Some criteria may be related to the input. Some criteria may be related to the output. Some may be related to the outcomes. Maybe we'll discuss that. I think already you are familiar with the input, output, and outcome. Otherwise, I will give you some example. Whether somebody has discussed about input, output, outcome, can you share your response? I wanted to know it. Anybody? Madam, anybody has covered input, output, and outcome?
Sir, you
No,
can,
sir.
go ahead, sir.
No. Okay. Maybe I will take some time for discussing that. In any educational system, otherwise educational system can be modeled as normal engineering system. For any system, there will be input and output. For a educational system, the inputs are faculty, students, curriculum, infrastructure, maybe operating expenses, money. Like that, we have number of inputs. When it comes to output, we have number of students successfully graduated, number of maybe students' academic performance. We can have number of students successfully maybe cleared GATE examination, and so on. Therefore, we have set of inputs, we have set of output. Fresh students are coming to the engineering college. In 4 years, we are having number of theory, laboratory, and project classes. By engaging the students in various classes, we are able to convert, we are able to transform the students, the raw student, those who have entered in the system, into the successful engineering graduate. Therefore, the input is applied to a teaching learning process. After the successful completion of 4 years of teaching learning experience, students will be graduated as an engineer. Are you able to follow me? Now, maybe I am just asking a question to you, maybe all the participants. What is an outcome? Because in outcome-based education, we are saying a lot of outcomes. It may be a course outcome, program outcome. What way the outcomes are different from the output? Because in the traditional educational, maybe traditional educational system, we will not talk about outcomes. We'll be using only inputs and outputs. But in outcome-based education, unless otherwise outcomes are properly clarified, it is very difficult to understand the concept. In order to understand the outcome, I wanted to quote a very simple example. Let us assume that I have completed PhD degree. Somebody saying, I have completed PhD degree. Whether it is output statement or outcome statement.
Output statement, sir.
Very good. Can you change that statement into outcome?
Yes, I did my PhD from IIT Madras in the ship propulsion area. More specific, basically, I want to say.
Okay, now specifically, I came out with 2 colorful publications published in Web of Science, so and so, with the high impact factor. My paper cited so far having some citations.
Correct, sir.
I have to H index of say 5. Therefore, if he says mere completed, not completed, yes or no, some number, If the statement is not giving any quality about the achievement, then that is called number-based system output. If you are able to communicate very clearly the quality of output, quality of accomplishment, that is called outcome. Maybe I will give you one more example, simple example, so that you can understand. Let us assume that in a city corporation, they are constructing a bridge across the river. Let us assume that in a typical city, due to avoid traffic congestion, they want to construct a bridge across the river. Now I am saying that bridge was constructed successfully. This is the output statement. By using so many inputs, with some 2 or 3 years, they are able to accomplish the task completed. Bridge was constructed. But even after bridge was inaugurated, bridge was open for maybe for people movement, nobody has used that. What is the outcome? I have constructed successfully. Bridge is opened for people, public movement, but nobody has used it. What is the outcome?
Outcome is 0, sir.
Very good. Therefore, we are giving input. With some time, with some processes, we are able to generate a useful output. Output is achieved, but if nobody is appreciating, if nobody is using, if there is no accomplishment of the output, then outcome is 0. Therefore, in outcome-based education, we will not stop. Student has got some mark. No. Whether he has learned it or not. Whether he is able to solve the problem or not. Therefore, output is simply number. Outcome is some quality statement. I will give you one more example.
Sir, can we relate it to like efficiency and effectiveness, something like that?
No, we can say that accomplishment of output only outcome, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Without input, there is no output. Without output, there is no outcome.
Correct.
In a traditional education, we are stopping our discussion after output. We are not going for outcome. But in outcome-based education, one step ahead of output, we are thinking the quality of output. Thereby, we are able to go for some improvement. Maybe in teaching learning, I will give one more example. Let us assume that I am a mathematics teacher. I am teaching a very fundamental mathematics course for first year students. I have conducted, say, first internal test 1. I am also correcting the papers. After correction, I am just distributing the paper. I am saying a statement that out of 60 students in the class, 40 students scored some mark, 80% mark. Assume that out of 60 students in the class, 40 students scored some 80% mark. Whether it is output statement or outcome statement,
It's only
it is
output statement, output one.
Output, because everything is number. Okay. If you wanted to convert into an outcome statement, the statement should be like this. Out of 60 students in the class, maybe 30 or 35 students able to solve the problem without committing any mistake. Because it is giving some quality, their capability, students' ability. Because the mere mark sometimes will not give whether the students are able to solve the problem completely. Sometimes we are giving some steps mark. Even without completing the problem fully, we'll be giving some 60 to 70% mark. Let's assume that I am having only 5 questions. The total mark is 50. Each question is 10 mark. Let us assume that somebody scored 35, or say 40. Out of 50, he or she scored 40. All the 5 problems not completed fully. Okay, the last step is some error, some small error. Therefore, I reduced to 2 mark in each and every problem, so that that particular student got 40 out of 50. But even though 80% mark is very good, according to the outcome-based education, I wanted to know how many students are able to solve the problem without any mistake. Therefore, sometimes this number-based will be giving wrong communication to the outside. Therefore, we are saying everything in outcomes in outcome-based education. Are you able to understand what I am trying to make it now? Is it clear?
Sir, I'm having a doubt, sir. Like
Yes.
in autonomous college, we have a graded result
Okay.
announcement.
Okay.
So the student is not going to write, or else the student is getting some mark. It is not going
Okay.
to purely reflect in the result.
No problem, sir. If you are going for number, that is output, sir. Only in ideal condition, the number will be equal to knowledge, sir. As of now, our assessment system is not to the expected level of outcome-based education. That is why in our OBE, we are verifying the ability of the students micro level. That is why we are asking the faculty to enter the question-wise data, not a total mark. I am not interested in total mark. Whether each and every student is able to get full mark or some appreciable mark in each and every question. Question-wise analysis going to be carried out in outcome-based education. The total mark is not sufficient. Therefore, in OBE, we have to have lot of data only to analyze whether the students are able to get complete knowledge or not. Is it okay? Can we move on to the next topic now? Because I wanted to clarify, in any educational system, there will be input, there will be a processes, whatever you are doing in 4 years, that is called a teaching learning process. After that, we are producing graduates or students. If we are verifying only the number of students completed, number of students placed, it will be an output statement or output quantity. But in outcome-based education, we are going to have some qualitative that is purely based on learning outcome. The learning outcome can have course level learning outcome, program level learning outcome, or professional level learning outcome. There are 3 levels of outcome: course level CO, program level PO, professional level PEO. Course level will be verified at the end of each and every semester. Program level verified at the end of 4 years for undergraduate program. If you wanted to verify the quality of graduates, that is called a professional outcome, we need to wait for 3 years. After graduation, 3 years down the line, if you are able to verify the career and the professional accomplishment of graduates, those outcomes are called professional outcome or PEO. Is it clear now? What are the 3 outcomes? Can you type in the chat box what I said? What are the 3 outcomes? I request all the participants, can you type? Because it is online, it is not a face-to-face. Always it is better to have a discussion so that you are able to. 3 outcomes, very good. Course outcomes. What about the second outcome?
Program outcomes and PEO, sir. Program
PEOs.
education objectives.
What is another name for PEO?
Professional outcome.
Very good, very good. When will you measure the professional outcome? Immediately, or you have to wait for some time?
After 3 years.
Very
After
good.
years generally.
According to the definition of program educational objectives, few years after graduation. Few years after graduation. But most of the assessment purposes, the few years are assumed as minimum 3 years.
Okay.
Therefore, in order to measure the graduate's accomplishment, we have to wait for 3 years. Probably, we will be measuring 4th and 5th year. If somebody is graduating in 2022, we will be measuring those graduates' achievement maybe in 2026 or 2027. Thereby, we are able to assess the quality of accomplishment of our graduates. That information will be used for improving the quality of our teaching learning processes. Thereby, we are able to improve the quality of educational system. In fact, OBE is a continuous quality improvement system. Normally, in most of the educational experience, we'll be operating in the open loop mode. Open loop mode in the sense that we'll be having some input and output. We'll be measuring outputs, but the action taken will be, we will not change the processes so as to improve the quality of outcomes. But in outcome-based education, we need to measure the outcomes in terms of COs, POs, and PEOs. For each and every outcome, there will be a benchmark or reference that will be compared with actual accomplishment. The error will be used for improving the quality of our system. Because somebody has covered OBE, I did not discuss about OBE. I don't know when I discussed that or not. Anyway, okay. There are 7 important parameters in outcome-based education. First one is vision and mission, program vision and mission of the institution, followed by vision, mission of the department. Third one is program educational objectives. Fourth one is graduate attribute. Then program outcomes. Then we have course outcome. Then program specific outcome. If you know all the 7 key parameters, then only we can appreciate outcome-based education. Outcome-based education is nothing but dynamically changing the teaching learning processes in order to achieve the stated outcomes. We are saying something before starting the program. We are measuring the achievement then and there. That is going to be compared with our reference. If at all any deviation, some changes are going to be recommended for our teaching learning processes. Thereby, maybe over the period of time, we are trying to improve our performance. I want to quote a very simple example. We are all using air conditioner in our office as well as our house. Whether that is an open loop system or closed loop system. Anybody?
Oh, it's a closed loop one.
Very good. Why it is a closed loop system? Any idea?
We want to
Your answer is
attain
correct,
some
perfect.
temperature, and
Why it is-
when the temperature is attained, it is
Very good.
doing that.
Because in air conditioning system, we are setting the reference by using remote control. We are setting the temperature. I want to get 25 degree, 26 degree, 18 degree, like that. We are setting the temperature. But the room temperature may be something different. It may be 35 or 40, depending upon the time or climate. It may be 36 or 40 also, or sometimes 45 also. But your requirement is set in the by using the remote control. Okay. Now, what is the function of air conditioner? Air conditioner measures the current temperature. In AC, there will be a temperature sensor. That sensor will measure the current temperature. That temperature will be compared with your already set temperature. It may be 18 degree or 20 degree. During the AC, immediately, just now it is switched on, the initial error will be very high because the room temperature may be around 40. You wanted to have, say, 20 or 25. The error will be very huge value. Therefore, in order to reduce the error, system is going to act. It is going to give more input. Thereby, the output is going to very close to the reference one. Therefore, the AC is going to work in such a manner that over the period of time, the difference between output and the reference is going to be very, very minimum. Same analogy can be used for OBE. Okay. In OBE, setting the temperature, setting some value is nothing but targets for various outcomes, course outcome or program outcome or PEO. It is something like setting the what you wanted to have. Okay. In order to measure the current reality or current temperature, we have used temperature sensor. In educational system, what could be the sensor? Can you guess? What is our sensor?
Assessment, sir.
We need to assess the current reality. Then only we can measure the error. Thereby we can take some useful action. What is a sensor for educational system?
Assessment by
Very
conducting
good, sir. Surya Prakash Rao.
Raju. Yes, sir.
Raju, very
Yes, sir.
good. Excellent answer. Assessment. We are using so many assessments. It may be a project review or project viva. It may be a laboratory viva. It may be a theory examination. We are conducting so many assessments. In that assessment, we are measuring the student's ability, whether he is able to do it or not. How many students are able to achieve that target? Therefore, course outcomes target is going to be measured at the end of each and every course. If there is an error, we are going to recommend some changes in the system. Now, who is going to change now? What are the changes in the educational system? Here, faculty is the center stage. The change agent will be faculty. Therefore, whatever methodology we are going to use in the classroom or in the assessment or in the form of topics to be discussed, there are only 3 changes possible. It may be changes in the curriculum, changes in the delivery of information in the classroom or laboratory, or there may be changes in the way in which we are assessing the performance of our students. Therefore, according to the error, we will be changing either content or the delivery mechanism or the assessment mechanism. Thereby, in each and every year of offering that course, we are able to bring improvement. Thereby, the difference between the set value and actually accomplished will be minimum, will be reduced over the time. Therefore, under steady state conditions, we are able to achieve the target. It is not immediately, because it is a closed loop system. It takes its own time to reach the steady state value. Just like an air conditioner, you will not reach the set temperature immediately. Depending upon the difference, it takes minimum 2 minutes or 3 minutes, even 5 minutes. But in education, it is a very, very sluggish system. Even to measure the performance of course outcome, we need to wait 6 months. If you wanted to measure the performance of program outcome, you have to wait 4 years. If you wanted to measure the performance of program educational objectives, that means professional outcome, you have to wait 7 years. Therefore, it is a very, very large, maybe sluggish system. But by using suitable assessment tool, we are able to appropriately measure various outcomes. Thereby, we are able to recommend possible changes. Let us move on to our discussion on criteria. Here, the main point is, out of 10 criteria, some of the criteria are input criteria, some of the criteria are output criteria, some of them are outcome. That we wanted to decode it. That is why I started discussing on input, output, outcome. Now, let us go one by one. What about the first criteria? Because just now we discussed there are 3 different variables: input, output, and outcome. After reading the first criteria, vision, mission, and program educational objective, whether it is input criteria, output criteria, or outcome-based criteria.
Input, sir.
Input or output or outcome?
Input, sir.
Sorry, sir. PEO is outcome.
Okay, that okay. Okay.
Okay. I just now told there are 7 important parameters in OBE.
Okay.
Starting with vision and mission of the institution, vision, mission of the department, program educational objectives, graduate attributes, program outcomes and PSOs, course outcomes, program specific criteria. All these parameters are outcome based. Therefore, first criteria is related to what? First criteria is related to
Outcome, sir.
outcome. Very good. What about the second one? Program, curriculum, and teaching learning process.
This is our course delivery related, sir.
Yes, sir. In outcome-based education, we need to change delivery. We need to change our curriculum. We need to change our assessment. Therefore, second one is also outcome-based. What about the third one?
It is outcome based.
Because the name itself very clear, this is outcome-based. Therefore, we discussed the first three criteria. All the three criteria are outcome-based. What about the fourth one? In fourth criteria, they are discussing quality input, number of students admitted in the program, students performance, students number of students graduated, students academic performance, number of students placed, and so on. Now tell me whether it is input or output or outcome.
Output, sir. This one.
It is both input output, sir, because they are asking number of students admitted to the program. That is input. All other things are output, sir. 4.2, we'll discuss later what is 4.2. Number of students graduated, they are asking. They are also asking the academic performance of the graduates, second year performance, third year performance, also number of students placed. All are numbers. Therefore, fourth will be input output criteria. Let us move on to the fifth criteria. I will explain. In faculty, they are asking about number of faculty in the department, their qualification, number of PhDs, number of professors, number of associate professor, and so on, number of short-term training program attended by the faculty, number of publications, number of sponsored project. Like that, they're asking. Now tell me whether it's input or output or outcome.
It's also input or output, sir. This one.
Very good, sir. It is also input, output. Majority input, output. There are some sub criteria in fifth criteria itself. There are some sub criteria, very little, that talk about outcome, but there is very, very little. Out of 200 marks dedicated to faculty, only 20 to 30 mark related to outcome. Maximum mark is given to input and output. Let us move on to sixth criteria, facilities and technical support. Can you guess? It is
Input,
talking
sir.
about infrastructure, sir.
Inputs.
Is it input or output?
It's input, sir. This one.
Very good, input. Therefore, in order to run the show, we need input. This number of classrooms, number of seminar halls, faculty room, and so on. Therefore, this is sixth one. Seventh one, continuous improvement.
So outcome, sir.
Action
This
to
one.
be taken on the system.
Output in number wise.
It's out. It's outcome, sir. This one. What is the action we are going to take?
I think sir got connection lost, I think.
Are you able to follow me now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Now, what about the seventh one? It is input or output or outcome?
I think it's out.
It's outcome,
Output,
sir.
sir.
This one. Outcome.
Outcome, continuous improvement, closed loop. Because in conventional education, we don't have strong continuous improvement. Then there will be a continuous improvement. But in outcome-based education, continuous improvement in part and parcel of our day-to-day life. Therefore, seventh is also outcome-based. Now tell me, out of 7 criteria, how many output, input, and outcome?
Four outcomes, sir.
1, 2, 3,
3 and 7.
7.
Yes,
1,
sir.
2, 3, 7 is outcome based.
Outcome. Yes, sir.
4, 5, 6 is input and output, mix of input output. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Therefore, until 2013 in India,
Sir, facilities is fully like input only, no, sir? Is it also input
no,
output?
mainly input, sir.
Okay.
Mostly input.
Okay.
Only in student and faculty we have combinations of input and output. Are you able to follow me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
In 4 and 5 we have combinations of input and output. 6 is purely input. 1, 2, 3, 7 is outcome.
Okay, sir.
Now I wanted to conclude. Up to 2013, the entire document is dedicated to only input output. Out of 1,000 points, all the 1,000 points are dedicated to only input output in the educational system. In 2013, the NBA has changed the document in order to satisfy the international requirements, because we wanted to become member of Washington Accord. They will accept when we follow the outcome-based accreditation. Therefore, in order to satisfy their norms, we have incorporated number of outcome-based criteria. That is why this document is outcome-based accreditation. Are you able to follow me now?
Yes, sir.
Without following outcome-based education, it is very, very difficult to digest this document. If somebody wants to apply for accreditation, the major mandatory step is first that the institution should implement OBE. Each and every faculty should appreciate OBE. At least they should have implemented OBE for 1 or 2 years. Then only we are in a position to apply. We are in a position to appreciate various criteria level details. When it comes to 8, 9, 10, 8 is first year, entire first year. Here also number of students admitted first year and number of faculty in the first year. Then first year student performance. Therefore, if you go in detail about 8th criteria, we have input, output and outcome also. In 8th criteria, partly input, partly output, and some mark is allocated to outcome also. But 9 is completely system, student support system. It covers mainly infrastructure, sports infrastructure, library, and all other systems are related to 9th feedback system. Therefore, teaching learning processes. 9th one is mainly related to the teaching learning and feedback processes in the system. 10th one is management. How you are governing the institution. Institutional support, various organizational setup, financial budget. It is also basically input, majorly input. Therefore, as a whole, if you look into the total mark allocated to outcome-based criteria, it is approximately 350 to 400. Almost 650 mark allocated to input-output. But in order to get accreditation, we must score 600 mark. In the criteria is different in Tier 1 and Tier 2. First, I will discuss the criteria for accreditation in Tier 2. Out of 1,000 points, if you are able to get 600 points, then we are eligible to get 3 years accreditation. Out of 1,000 points, if we are able to get 750 plus, then we will get 6 years accreditation. There are some conditional criteria I will discuss later. In Tier 2 document, even after getting 600 marks, if your mark in faculty, 5th criteria is less than 80, 40% mark allocated to this one, then you will not get accreditation. Even after scoring 610, the mark in faculty information contribution is less than 80, then no accreditation. Similarly, for 6-year accreditation, the total mark should be more than 750 and the mark scored in 4, 5, 6 should be greater than 60% allocated to 4, 5, 6. That's called the conditional criteria. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Only there are 3 awards only. No accreditation, 3 years accreditation, 6-year accreditation. Based on that only, they are going to give the award. Now let us move on to the actual document so that you can appreciate.
Sir, I would like to ask one question here for my doubt.
Okay.
What is the specific reason that they have separated that first year academics?
Sir, first year, because whether you are going for accreditation or not, in some college, only minimum number of programs they will be going for accreditation. Okay. First year mostly common. First semester is mostly common in most of the institution.
Okay.
Now they wanted to check whether the first year teaching is also in quality terms or not.
Okay.
Normally, the first year, the 8-9 criteria will be evaluated by chairman. One person only, common.
Okay, sir.
The individual department-wise information will be verified by the program evaluators, the experts in that particular domain. The first year and student support system, sports, common thing, common facilities, library, infrastructure, management, budget, those things will be evaluated by chairperson. He may be in any department. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Because our curriculum will be common in most of the engineering institution.
Yeah, first year.
First semester will be common.
Yeah.
Therefore, they wanted to verify the common facilities, physics lab, chemistry lab. That is because those labs are common to all the engineering programs.
Correct.
They wanted to verify in a different framework.
Okay, sir.
Now, this is the recommendation given by the NBA. I think you can read same thing. Programs should score minimum 750 points in aggregate out of 1,000 points with the minimum score of 60% in mandatory fields, 4 to 6. Therefore, they should get 60% mark in 4, 5, 6. In addition to that, the total mark should be 750 plus. That is one condition. Then they have additional conditions. Then 30% faculty should have PhD. That is another important conditions. In pre-qualifier, they are asking only 10% of faculty should have PhDs. You are eligible to apply for accreditation. If you wanted to get 6-year accreditation, the requirement is minimum 30% of faculty should have PhDs. Then, with respect to faculty-student ratio, they have to maintain 1:20, at least CAY, CAY M1 and CAY M2. In the last 3 years, including current academic year, they should have 1:20 faculty-student ratio. Then with respect to number of professors, they should have at least 2 professors or 1 professor and 1 associate professor. If you are not having 1 professor, both are associate professor, means even after scoring 700 plus, 750 plus, we will not get 6-year accreditation. Then finally, HOD should have PhD degree. Therefore, it is not only one condition, simply 750 plus. We have number of conditional criteria in terms of 4, 5, 6, in terms of number of PhDs, in terms of admissions, we should have more than 50%, in terms of faculty-student ratio, in terms of number of professors and associate professor, in terms of HOD, whether he is having PhD or not. It is for 6 years. Then we have for 2 years, this is the condition as per the NBA. We should score minimum 600 points out of 1,000. Only one condition criteria. In faculty, that is 5th criteria, we should have 40% mark. Out of 200, we should have scored at least 80 marks. Then admission should be 50%. Then only we are eligible to apply for accreditation. Then at least 1 professor or 1 associate professor. Then we should have faculty students ratio at least 1:25. The number of PhDs should be 10%. This is the condition for 3 years. even after scoring 600 plus, if we are not able to satisfy one of the conditional criteria, then we will not get 3 years accreditation. If the mark is less than 600, or even after scoring 600 or something higher, we are if conditions are not satisfied, then also program is not accredited. Is it clear? Now let us move on to tier 1, how they are evaluating tier 1. Tier 1 evaluation is something totally different. This is international system. Tier 2 is total mark. Tier 1 is not based on the total mark. We'll discuss one by one now. I think I will just read the first document. According to the document, the mark obtained in each and every criteria will be converted to 4 different qualitative labels. 4 labels they are giving. One label is called deficiency. Another one is called weakness. Third one is called concern. Fourth one is called compliance. Okay. If the percentage mark is less than 40, if somebody is scoring less than 40%, then they will say you are deficient in that criteria. If the mark is 40 to 60%, then they will say weakness. They will attach W. For deficiency, they will attach D. If the mark is 60 to 75, simply they will attach C. C for concern. If the mark is 75 and above, they will put Y. Y is called compliance. We have satisfied the requirements of NBA. Therefore, the mark will be, the quantitative marks will be first converted to qualitative labels. They are attaching only 4 labels: D, W, C, and Y. Are you able to follow me? When they will give D? Any response? When the qualitative label will be D?
Less than 40%, sir.
Very good. Less than 40 means D. 40 to 60 means W. 60 to 75 means C, concern. 75 and above means Y, compliance. Now, the quality of accreditation will be like this. In order to get 7 years accreditation, 6 years accreditation, at least out of 10 criteria, we should get 7 Y. In order to get 6 years accreditation, this is the formula. We should have Y should be greater than or equal to 7. Out of 10, we should have reached 7 Ys, minimum 7 Ys. Then additional condition, there should not be any W and D. W and D should be 0. Only C is allowed. Therefore, if you are able to get at least 7 Ys, in the remaining criteria, if you are able to maintain C without W and D, then only we will get full accreditation of 6 years. Sometimes, even after getting 7 Ys, in one of the criteria, if you are getting W, then they will not give 6 years, they will give only 3 years. Now you can wonder why, what is the difference? Are you able to understand the difference between the awarding mechanism of tier 2 and tier 1? Which one is very tough to reach? Tier 2 or tier 1?
Tier 1, no, sir. Individual.
Hey, sir, I am in meeting. Within the 10 minutes, I will come and pick up my vehicle. Therefore, which one is very difficult? Tier 1 or tier 2?
Tier 1, sir.
Why? Any reason for that? Maybe I will give a very simple example. Let us take our normal assessment. We are conducting so many tests. Okay, scoring 80% mark is very easy, total mark. If you are saying that in each and every question you should get 8 mark, which one is easier? Because if you are asking 10 questions, by getting full mark in all the 8 questions, I can score 80. I can get 0 mark in the remaining 2 questions. With the 80 mark, I can get some very good grade, because total mark is important. But in tier 1, you have to maintain in each and every criteria some minimum mark. Otherwise, you will not get accreditation. Therefore, in all the 10 criteria, you should score minimum 60% and above. At least in 7 criteria, you should score 75% and above. Then only we are able to satisfy the requirements of NBA for full accreditation. In other words, in each and every criteria, across the criteria, we need to have a almost equal mark. Then only you are eligible to get accreditation. It is an international requirement. Therefore, it is very, very difficult to satisfy tier 1 requirement compared to the tier 2. This is the point. Already we discussed it. Tier 1, we have to have 7. For 3 years, the condition is number of O's should be 4. If we have minimum 4 O's, then program in D in any criteria, the program is not considered accreditation. Therefore, there should not be any D. You should not score less than 40% in any other criteria. In the remaining 6 criteria, if you are able to score at least W or C, then you will get accreditation of 3 years. Sometimes the college will get 700, total mark 700, but still they will not get accreditation, because in one criteria, they will get very high mark, full mark. In other criteria, they will perform badly. Thereby, the total mark is immaterial. We need to perform consistently across the criteria. That is the important difference between these 2 methodologies. Any clarification required at this point of time? Tier 1 and tier 2 mechanism.
Clear, sir. Clear, sir.
Very good. We will move on to the next thing. Okay. Now, next I will discuss about the important how to prepare SIR. If you take the document, I told there are pre-qualifier. I will just open the pre-qualifier. We will spend some time on pre-qualifier. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
This is the pre-qualifier. Whenever you are interested to submit your application form, we need to submit this pre-qualifier. In pre-qualifier, there are a number of general maybe data with respect to profile of the institute. I think we can easily fill it. Then we have other conditions like B. B is also name of the department, number of programs running in for each and every department, how many programs you are running. That should be filled here. Then the students' admissions for that particular program, we need to be very specific. For the program you are applying for accreditation, for all the CAY2, CAY3, we need to give number of students admitted, regular students, number of lateral entry, and so on. We need to submit all the documents. Then number of faculty with all the details, faculty name, PAN number, and so on, that should be submitted. The number of faculty available for only CAY and CAY M1. I wanted to clarify here, CAY means current academic year. In NBA, current academic year means July to June. One academic year starts July 1, it's ended the next year, June. For example, now 2022-23 academic year started from July 2022. At the end of June, 2023, that academic year will be over. Therefore, that is the standard they are following in NBA. With respect to that assumption only, we are going to provide all the details. Therefore, in B, we are providing all the details with respect to admission, with respect to students in different years, faculty details, faculty cadre, then head of the department, whether they have the PhD or not. This is very important condition. Therefore, in B, they are asking all the data. Based on the students and the faculty, they will calculate student-faculty ratio. For the 3 years, mainly CAY, M1 and M2, it should be less than 1:25. That is 25. Then only we are eligible. Therefore, we will be submitting all the required information in the B part. Then C part, there's a summary sheet. This is very important. Here only they are classifying into two different requirements, essential and desirable. The essential should be complied. Then only our application will be through. If you see that, the last column, we have to write either complied or not complied. There are 7 essential items. If you see that, whether the department is having vision and mission, PEO. That is the first condition, essential qualifiers. That means only in OBE, these things are mandatory. In the normal educational system, department, vision, mission, PEOs are not required. Therefore, the first condition is this one. Then AICTE approval. Then the admission for that particular program in the last 3 years, CAY, M1, M2, M3, minimum 50% average. In 1 year, we may be having less percentage, but on average, it should be more than 50%. When it comes to a pre-qualifier, they will consider later entry also. That is one of the important point we need to make it here. But when it comes to mark, they will not consider lateral entry admission. The mark will be given only for regular admissions. Then SFR is 1:25 requirement. Then at least we should have 1 professor in the last 2 years. Then 10% faculty should have PhDs. At least 2 batches should be passed out. Then only we are eligible. If all these 7 conditions are satisfied, if you pay 10% fees, pre-qualifier will be approved immediately after submission. That's all. Once you have submitted your SAR pre-qualifier, they will give only 60 days time. The deadline will be fixed on the day itself. Within 60 days, we should have submitted SAR. Even if you submit next day, your SAR will not be accepted. Whatever amount you have paid for the pre-qualifier will be null and void. You have to make one more separate application. Therefore, normally we will not submit pre-qualifier until SAR is prepared for at least 60 to 70%. It is okay. It is okay to some extent. Then only they will submit pre-qualifier. If you submit pre-qualifier, if you start preparing SAR, that will not work out, because SAR is not a very easy thing. It takes a lot of time. It is an open-ended exercise. Therefore, SAR should be filled to at least to 70 to 80% before filing your pre-qualifier. Any clarifications? In addition to that, some desirable thing that is already given. This is with respect to pre-qualifier. Next, I will discuss about manual. There is a manual available for, therefore, the institution interested in applying for NBA accreditation. First, they have to read manual. All the details are given in the manual, starting from maybe registration to pre-qualifier, SAR, team visit, what are the documents they will expect, how much time they will take. All the details are given. It's a very, very lengthy document. Around 200 plus pages are available. By referring it, we can get complete picture. After that, we need to use the template for SAR. It's very, very important template. This is the SAR template. If you see that, whatever we discussed previously, 7 program level criteria, 3 institute level criteria, that is given. SAR template is given, self-assessment report. If you see that, this is the SAR template. For each and every criteria, very, very minute details are asked. For example, first criteria, they have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. 5 sub criteria. For the first criteria, they are given 60 marks. The individual sub criteria marks are given here. For example, 1.15 mark, 1.25 mark, like that. For each and every sub criteria, they are given different marks. First, read the question, but don't fill the answer immediately. If you try to fill the answer, you'll be completely, you will not get appreciation, because we have to read one more document. That document is called Evaluation Guidelines. That is also available in the NBA website. You can take it. Everything is available. For each and every criteria, what is expected from the NBA point of view? Otherwise, NBA evaluator, what they will look for. It is something like a rubrics for the assessment. Therefore, before filling, if you read the rubrics very clearly or evaluation guidelines clearly, what kind of documents they will expect during the visit, if that is not, that is also very clear. If you try to fill after reading this document, then your answer will be very, very appropriate. Otherwise, you'll be filling some information that may not satisfy the requirements of NBA. For example, if you refer the document, they are simply saying, state the vision and mission of the department institute. If you read it, normally we will give only simply state vision and mission of the DIPA institute. That's all. We will not provide any other document, any other details. But if you read the evaluation guidelines, if you provide only simple statement, you will get only 1 mark only. They are expecting few more important information. For example, we need to write the appropriateness and relevance of the statement, then consistency of the department statement with institute statement. If you read the question, you will give only this answer. Therefore, we are not in a position to satisfy the NBA for all the 5 marks. Therefore, we have to fill SAR. We have to fill the SAR only after reading evaluation guidelines. Therefore, this is the process normally followed to fill the SAR. Read the SAR, refer the evaluation guidelines. Once evaluation guidelines are very clear, we can start filling the SAR. Are you able to follow? This is the proper process. Are you able to follow me?
Sir,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Therefore, if somebody wants to go for accreditation, first step is we need to register in eNBA. After that, immediately you have to refer, before submitting pre-qualifier or before making your application form, first go to the NBA website, read the manual very clearly, NBA manual, all the process are clearly given. Before going for all these things, you have to verify whether your institution started implementing OBE or not. To the best of my knowledge and experience, at least 2 years data is really required in order to fulfill the requirements of NBA, even for Tier 2. If you are going for Tier 1, at least 1 batch of students successfully completed in OBE curriculum. Then only you are in a position to satisfy the requirements of NBA. Therefore, after reading NBA manual, SAR, evaluation guidelines, if the SAR is completed to some 60 to 70%, then submit your pre-qualifier. You'll be given 60 days time. In the 60 days time, you can review the SAR. You can make SAR perfect, so that before the elapse of 60 days, you can submit SAR, so that we are able to satisfy the requirements of NBA. With that, I am stopping my discussion. If you have any clarifications or questions with respect to whatever we discussed so far, I'm very happy to answer your clarifications. Because my objective is, what is NBA accreditation? before going for NBA accreditation, what are the points one must know it? With that expectations, only I started presenting my information. I hope whatever discussion we had for the last 1.5 hours is useful to you. If you have any clarifications, I'm very happy to take questions from you for some time. Maybe you can put your question in the chat box. Otherwise, you can ask by just unmuting your mic.
Sir, I have a doubt. After the pandemic,
Yes.
is there any relaxations in the procedure, like proper documents are not to be submitted?
No, sir. Actually, with respect to NBA manual and evaluation guidelines, they did not maybe reduced the requirements. They only extended academic year, sir. For example, 1920 academic year is up to December 2021, sir. As per NBA guidelines, 1920 should be July 2019 to June 2020 for all normal purposes. Because of the pandemic, 1920 academic year extended up to December 2021. Then 2021 academic year is simply a calendar year, not academic year. January 2021 to December 2022, sir. Other than that, there is no dilution because of pandemic, but they will accept maybe because during the pandemic we conducted only online delivery, also online assessment. There may be some problems in showing some document, but they will take it. That is left to the individual evaluator. But there is no relaxation in the guidelines. It's very clear. Any other clarification? I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other clarifications from whether our discussion useful to you?
Yeah, discussion is very useful, sir. In a nutshell, you have covered entire NBA applying process. So very clearly you have explained. Good, sir. Until unless somebody goes through this, then only you'll get doubts.
Yes, yes. Because it's a very,
yeah.
It is not input.
Yeah.
It's not input-output based accreditation.
Correct.
Input-output is simply we can make application. Before 2013, going for NBA is not like we don't require these kind of discussions and very simple, just like applying for AICTE, extension of approval. But because of OBE, outcome-based accreditation, we need to do a lot of changes. Without that, if you go and apply for NBA, that will not yield fruitful results.
I think you meant to say that before 2013, NBA was never asking about vision, mission, COs and all. They were never asking.
Yes, vision, mission of the institution they will ask. Okay. They will not ask visions of department, PO, and so on.
Okay.
Because without institution, vision, mission, we cannot start the institution. As per AICTE mandate, each and every entity should have vision, mission.
Yeah, because as part of ISO also they should have it, not only for this.
But department level is not mandatory. Only in OBE, department vision, mission is mandatory.
Okay, sir.
Sir, actually, when we talk about the previous, that is 2016, before 2016 manual, we have an option called PEO attainment. They allotted some marks and they are very much, we know how we are calculating PEO attainment and all. They have some certain marks also for PEO attainment. But after 2016, that September manual released, I think they are concentrating on CO attainment, PO attainment. But among these 10 criteria, See, they are no connected with PEO attainment. Generally, they are speaking that how to attain PEO and all, but they are not giving any guidelines how to do the PEO attainment like that. So why the changes happen, sir, between these two manuals?
Because it is simply following ABBET accreditation, madam.
Okay, sir. Okay.
We know that ABBET means American Accreditation System for Engineering and Technology.
Okay.
Entire Washington Accord, International Engineering Alliance, simply following the processes from ABBET. ABBET discontinued PO assessment from their documentation, SSR, self-study report.
Okay, sir.
Because of the challenge, because once students graduated from the institution, it is very, very difficult to track their accomplishment because we need to collect a lot of information from the employer.
Exactly.
Normally, employer will be very busy. Even if they give, HR manager will give the response. HR manager may not be knowing the technical competency of the graduates.
Yes.
Therefore, lot of challenges in assessing the PEO. That was expressed by number of institutions in USA. That is why they discontinued PEO assessment from the self-study report of ABBET.
Okay, okay.
Following that, Washington Accord also clearly indicated that PEO assessment is not mandatory. However, if some institution is interested in assessment, they can go. But NBA will not do review that for marking purposes.
Okay.
But if you are strictly following OBE, PEO assessment is also mandatory because there are a lot of challenges in PEO assessment. That is why NBA is not considering PEO assessment for marking purposes.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, then one clarity also, sir. Actually, when we are doing the PEO attainment of PEO, we are going to take the PEO attainment as a direct assessment. The indirect assessment, we are making use of the alumni survey as well as the employer survey. For example, if we are going to calculate the PEO attainment after 3 years, that particular batch pass out. For example, if 2018 batch now, we are going to collect the survey, alumni survey after 2021. Then how we are going to ask the question, how they are, what is the role play they are playing in the company or the institution where they employed, like that. We are collecting the questions. From that, we are going to assess now. Generally, we are collecting the alumni survey from the alumni meeting. For the alumni meeting, the entire alumni is going to participate, not only the particular 2018 batch. If we are going to calculate the PEO attainment for 2018 batch, means we have to take the alumni survey who are all passed out in the particular year alone. Am I correct, sir?
Maybe. For PEO assessment, first of all, we should not take PEO attainment.
Okay.
No, completely ruled out.
Okay, sir.
PEO assessment only from employer, alumni,
okay,
and professional bodies or any other organization.
Okay.
Because we are asking about professional accomplishment of graduates after minimum 3 years of graduation.
Okay.
PEO attainment is purely based on during the graduation. That will not be considered for PEO.
We don't bother about the PEO attainment.
There is no direct relevance between PEO attainment and PEO. Sometimes the so-called first rank student will not go for work at all.
Yeah.
He is having a lot of maybe competencies. Sometimes it may happen.
Okay, okay, sir.
Therefore, PEO attainment only during the graduation. PEO fresh, we need to take the data after 3 years.
So there is no calculation, there is no nothing. We have to take the attainment
only survey,
from the
only indirect.
Only from the survey. Okay.
There is no direct attainment calculation for PEO.
Okay, okay.
Completely indirect. There may be, we can use employer survey, we can use alumni survey, we can use professional body or any other survey.
Okay.
Completely indirect only. The question should be different. If you are asking about the accomplishment of your 2022 graduates,
okay,
first you have to identify where they are working. you have to identify the employer in which 2022 graduates are working.
Okay.
You should not target the employer in which only few students are working. We need to identify the employer in which majority, some handful numbers are working. The question should be very, very straightforward. You have to ask the 2022 you have to reflect the graduates, they have completed their education in 2022. You reflect their abilities, their accomplishment. Like that only we should ask. It is not open-ended. We should not ask the graduates, those who have completed maybe in 10 years or 15 years down the line, period. It should be specific to one particular or 2 years.
Okay.
Therefore, questions should be very clear. We need to target the employer. That is the challenge. That is why they are not considering PU assessment for. But if you have a very good database, if you are able to track your graduates, if you have very good rapport between your employer and your institution, if they are able to appreciate your efforts, definitely we can get very good feedback, or we can get a reply from our employer with respect to PEO.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Participants, do you have any doubts?
Again, on doubt regarding assessments.
Yes.
In 3-point scale, we are identifying the internal and end semester. And in year to year, this ratio is changing, like 80% for the end semester and 20% for the continuous assessment. So for a period of over 6 years, how this can be accumulated over a continuous improvement?
I'm not getting your question actually. What you are trying to make?
Different strategies will be followed for each batch of students.
Why due to regulation change?
Because for one batch of students, and after that maybe autonomous status is reached.
No problem. Yeah. Actually here, when you have started following OBE, whether you have all the question-wise marks are available?
All the documents are available.
If you have question-wise mark, we can give equal importance for internal assessment or end semester.
50-50.
Yes, 50-50, nothing wrong. No, if you wanted to use 100% for end semester, that is also appreciated, because the definition of course outcome is we need to measure the knowledge of students only after the completion of your semester. The intermediate knowledge during the course of semester, it is only a maybe learning process. Sometimes student may not be knowing the concept during the beginning. At the end, because of 2 months or 3 months time, they are able to improve their caliber, they are able to improve their competency. Therefore, if your system is a matured system, we can measure the course outcome only using end semester examination.
Okay. Sir.
If you refer maybe Western universities, they are considering only end semester. Therefore, if you have some percentage, you should have proper justification. There is no hard and fast formula. You have to use this one and that one. If you are using some weightage, there should be some justification for that. In NBA or in OBE, there is no hard and fast rule. Everything is flexible, but we cannot we cannot take random number. Whenever you are assuming certain weightage, there should be some justification for that. They will ask that only. They will not dictate. You have to use 50-50. There is no dictation here. OBE means freedom. OBE means flexibility.
And one more question, sir. Being this process of documentation and noting down all the marks to be very laborious, do you suggest any process in automation?
Sir, we need to have an automation system, sir. We need to have a Pakka automation system for the entire institution without losing any data. It may be end semester or continuous assessment, assignment. Everything should be entered. by using your own faculty or using some data entry operator. Maybe OBE is nothing but data analyst, analyzing the educational data, sir. We are all teaching in computer science, data mining, data analytics, only for industry. OBE is nothing but collecting the educational data, analyzing the data for our own improvement. Therefore, if you have a Paka automation system, just like that we have in industry by ERP, by collecting all the evidences, by using some maybe operator identified for that particular purpose, we are able to implement this process very easily. If you do using your Excel sheet, it will be very, very difficult. Therefore, we should have a dedicated ERP, dedicated automation system for OBE. Then only in a long run, we are able to implement these kind of systems effectively.
Clear, sir. Clear. Thank you, sir.
Participants, do you have any other queries, or shall we wind up?
Madam, I have one important meeting.
Okay,
we can,
sir. Okay.
Wind up the session.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and joining with us. Thank you so much for delivering your session. I think this session is very useful to the faculties who go for that accreditation and all. They can get the clear idea on how to approach the accreditation. They can very well know, I think. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you for the opportunity. I extend thanks to all the participants for effectively participating in all the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Rajashri, madam, kindly post the feedback link in the WhatsApp group. Madam Rajashri.
Feedback also.
Ma'am, I have posted in the chat box itself, ma'am.
Okay.